is She. That's what my friends call me. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 protected videos. They're short videos. They're actually excerpts from ancient temple memories. And what you'll love about this, the memories are from a royal cat. His name is Baba. He's part Manx and part coon, and he is offered to share his memories with us. Now, Baba decided to share humanity's destiny as he heard it taught from an early age, influenced by powerful memories of his past. He feels a great need in the hearts of all life to gain a greater understanding of their purpose and plan. His vivid memories scan a period of approximately 8,000 years. We're only going to touch on a few, of course, but the memories include an energy that actually desired to divinize all receptive life on earth. Now, divinity is present everywhere, and Baba has retained a conscious recall of names of deities and teachings during an earlier period of evolution and events where he reviewed his own involvement. So Baba, a royal feline, honored in his own right, remembers the spiritual culture and purpose of life as how it was known then and accepted as a natural state of being. Now today, it saddens Baba to witness how teachings so pure and simple have been basically abandoned. For instance, humans understood that humans particularly could consciously become what they already are in essence, as God's Spirit, right here in matter by developing character. Besides a love for truth, a variety of life in ancient times understood that balance was very important. Humans particularly should not forget the reasoning mind and scientific knowledge, but there's much more than that. There were those who knew that to be free, they had to actually use bodily discipline. So Baba listened attentively to the wisdom teachers who lived what they taught. And their intention was to eradicate the ongoing ignorance that binds a personality to mortal existence. Back then and now, humans as well as many animals who were devoted to the beloved one, commonly referred to as God, loved and actually realized, saw, and intelligently used a mysterious power, presence, and energy, hidden yet manifesting in all life and things. Certain ones understood that to be selfish and greedy or unkind was ignorant and would result in negative experiences in the future. The dedicated were devoted, a subject rarely spoke of or understood during current times. And devotion was a hidden door to God that allowed the personality or species to be free from ignorance. Specific disciplines were suggested, such as study and meditation, that strengthened understanding and increased devotion. A desire to be godlike was evident because select ones intuitively understood that the highest forms of joy and peace and contentment are obtained when the meaning of life is discovered and lived. Yes, various gods and goddesses were admired, but what many people today do not understand is that the gods and goddesses actually represented cosmic forces that are required to activate virtues within the mind and heart, regardless of the form or appearance. They are symbols of what we are, hidden and need to be aroused here in physical form. Now, when seekers become consciously what they represent as qualities, as qualities of the highest nature, an individual spirit, regardless of form, may return to source, the true nature, and the beloved one. We, particularly animals who love the sun, it just makes me sigh, are similar to sun rays, manifestations of the Supreme One. And this is why the sun is used as a symbol of our Father, because the sun shines on everyone and everything, and we cannot live without its advanced and nurturing energy. So cats are masters of energy. And this is why and I'm speaking for Baba here, was intrigued observing Mama She measuring energy as consciousness. Years ago, my human partner, Mama She, purchased a dowser for the sole purpose of measuring energy. A dowser can be used as a tool of measurement similar to a pendulum, and the dowser could actually be asked questions about love and get answers that Google doesn't answer to your satisfaction in any area. And this includes questions on health and relationships, history, science, consciousness, or simply to find water and metals. So Mama She's intention was to measure energy fields before and after meditation, and the results were astounding. Some people's auras had expanded so far that their energy extended outside the room. She would do a before and after measurement. Now, this experiment complemented in a strange way her spiritual eyesight, which is similar to mine, Baba. Not only do many forms of physical life have physical senses, we also have latent spiritual senses. Our spiritual senses are as activated as our consciousness is expanded. As an example, if Mama She is at a concert and closes her eyes and looks at the people sitting in front of her, she is able to see their light energy. Of everyone, actually, sitting in the room. Now, I'm not referring to colored auras, but the subtle light body, the perfect duplicate of the physical body. This subtle body is composed of light energy, and it is perfect. It is always interesting to observe the great differences between physical life and the power of individual developed light. The light body and its development are determined by an awakened consciousness. Now, some people, animals, and even plant life have a very dim light, and the subtle duplicate light form is not expansive. Others are often bright, almost overpowering, and the energy may spread across the room. This in itself is an indicator of how consciousness, energy, affects all of us, whether it's a living entity, a place, a thing, a radio, television, anything that we're exposed to. Now, there are countless variations to what has been witnessed by many of us who use developed spiritual eyesight. The point being made is that energy can be hindered or enhanced depending on our thoughts and feelings and actions and who or what we associate with in our environment. So our conscious energy and its desires and activities determine destiny. And you may not like to hear this, but we are the cause of everything that happens to us. This statement may make cats and people alike uncomfortable, but it's time to face the fact that we cannot blame anyone else for how we look, what we experience, or anything else. We wrote the script according to our desire to experience all aspects of creative life. Now, my intention as Baba, my former owner called me Bob. My intention with Mama She's help in this 3-part series is to suggest how anyone can be liberated from the unnecessary afflictions and penetrate the mysteries and discover the nature of the divine as our very own identity as first-hand experience, and further explore the ancient teachings of the sages. Doesn't that sound good to you? Do we have a destiny? Oh, yes, we do. And the idea of these brief videos eventually being transformed into a book form is to share what I, as a feline, witnessed thousands of years ago. The temple memories hopefully will lead to union through spiritual evolution. And the journey is played out here on the stage of our life-giving planet Earth. And what I share is a practice knowledge for anyone who has fallen in love with the principles of peace, nonviolence, and spiritual emancipation, regardless of species, sex, race, or creed. So as you listen to the 3 brief videos, I want you to ask yourself, could it be that all creatures have patterns of illusion that eventually lead to knowing the true self? Now, we've been given radiant light appearing as color rays to help return our consciousness to its original state of being. We obviously are designed to learn to work with the light through free will. And as we do, we discover everything created is a combination of vibratory rates, densities, and potentials. Hopefully, you will find the journey as fascinating as it is for my beloved Mama She and myself. So right now, I'm going to share part 1, which we have labeled as destiny. And destiny is to know thyself. It's a spiritual movement that eventually brings all of us to know our eternal identity. It requires taking deliberate steps. And the steps are not necessarily in the order that I share them, because each soul is at its own peculiar level of conscious awareness. For instance, you can have a deep devotion toward what you consider holy, but yet not have conquered the necessary steps where you are totally free from the snares of the material world of confusion and ignorance. So spiritual growth is a process. In the truest sense, it is a practice. And we eventually reach a point where we choose to consciously practice what we spiritually are right here in matter. But many have forgotten their choice. And yes, we always have a choice to live with limited insight, which includes mechanics and engineering, astronomy, literature, mathematics, physiology, and everything else considered a mental, intellectual knowledge as a result of our being disciplined. All of this is good and fascinating, but we need to go higher into the disciplines of the universe to work successfully toward our destiny. So there's a hidden science that awakens our true spiritual identity and intuitively offers answers to who am I and what my purpose is. It helps our understanding to realize that our body be considered a temple and the universe a larger temple of infinite possibilities. If you feel you'd like to create a meaningful or even mysterious journey for yourself, imagine your body, your home, your state, your county, and the planet as pyramids, temples, reaching for the stars. And since physical life is a plane of consciousness, why not create an ambience through the use of your imagination and feel what it must have been like to live during ancient times as an initiate in a temple. Close your eyes and feel the hot sand under your feet and the great sun shining on your head. You are the creator, the director, and the actor. So why not enhance your return journey to oneness and the realization of the fullness of the true spiritual identity by enjoying the game that you've created? So together, let us participate in the higher mystical disciplines and joys achieved through accepting the truth of a divine love and real purpose in life, and walk together in hope and love, wisdom and joy. Our destiny is to consciously evolve. You can keep putting it off as long as you want. This is your play. But we're not a finished product. And I know it's possible to gain a pure understanding of the purpose of life and that we can actually achieve peace and prosperity and an outer beauty that reflects our making a choice to gain conscious power, a divine force, by applying it today as initiates did during ancient times. So our destiny is not to die, but to continue to live as an awakened being that has a choice to temporarily use a physical form. And so perhaps you're ashamed of your physical form. You know you can actually change it without surgery by changing your mind and opening your heart and taking responsibility for your own temple life. We resurrect ourselves by aligning the heart and mind to a divinity that transcends any limitation or judgment or ordinary consciousness. So the spiritual center or system I remember of ancient times is the secret hidden divinity, our true nature. It may feel like its presence and power is a huge secret because it's a manifestation that is beyond time and space, and yet it permeates everything created in matter. So our role, well, regardless of our species, is to eventually unravel the mystery of our original destiny. Instead of feeling as if we are constantly in the chaos and misery of physical life, let's reach higher and walk as a giant. Our destiny is to be sublime consciously and physically. We are required to become fully aware of our oneness with the divine and all creation, regardless of form. So unless we awaken, the sorrow continues, and everything in matter perishes. But our spiritual consciousness does not perish. So to expand and live your higher self here in matter does not just happen automatically. Faith is vitally important, yes. But I'm speaking of the faith that comes with the determination to know thyself. We must understand we have a destiny and begin to seriously engage the correct methods to achieve that goal. So understanding and disciplines, perseverance, love, and expectancy eventually lead to those forgotten memories of our true spiritual identity. Doesn't the prospect of actually authentically experiencing the divine and accomplishing great deeds excite you? There is another way besides the repetitive suffering commonly experienced on this planet. But it's up to you and no one will save you. What saves you is following the example of another who has succeeded in his or her goal. The goal is to resurrect self from the darkness and chaos everywhere. And the more adept we become in this discipline, the greater our light of genuine love and understanding, and a desire to be of service to the divine expanse. So consciously, visibly, tangibly, to be our highest identity is actually a science. And what manifests is a result of thought. And our journey on earth has been longer than we realize. And creation is about motion. How motion occurred, which is actually a mass of moving essence and elements. In the earliest times of known history, there are inscriptions and writings that explain the ancient truths. And the modern world typically doesn't have access to the hieroglyphic texts or inscriptions. The divine writings contain the wisdom which enlightens and reveals our destiny. So mastery of thought and word and deed was emphasized because the ancient teachers understood that we, all of us, are capable of purification and becoming a living master. And back then, words of power were used for healing and chanting through song and changing matter. There are the rare few who are able to do likewise today. The typical human being has forgotten about the cosmic forces of nature. Humans are an order of beings who can actually attain a very high state of consciousness. Yes, anyone can free himself from the ignorance so prevalent in matter by learning of the true nature of the universe. So why not elevate yourself through virtue and wisdom? And typically what happens is a sorrowful forgetfulness, which is really sad. And many of you who are listening or reading this message once participated in ancient life. You were shown how to know yourself and how to consciously return to Source, the divine beloved one. And the beloved one knows that human beings need guidance and encouragement. As a result, many magnificent beings of light have appeared on earth as role models to lead the way. There is a path, a way to love and wisdom and joy, besides the ongoing pressure of the worldly perspective. So Mama Shi and Baba purpose is to share our understanding of a state of consciousness that's apart from bodily concerns, and to dangle before you the idea that each one of us can eventually become godlike. And we achieve success through using our will and choosing to live a life of goodness through disciplines. And the goal is balance. Balance means to stay focused, single-eyed, not dual in our observation, and closely monitor reactions so that no situation has a typical emotional charge. Now, this isn't easy to do. We all know that. So it's a matter of training. So train yourself to simply see a situation like any other in which you may or may not observe an opportunity to be of service. To accomplish balance, also involves concentrating your will and keeping your faculty of faith steady. So focusing your attention plays a large part in the reprogramming of the conscious mind. And this is where an understanding of light and colors and accepting that every one of us is a child of God, child of the One, infinite Creator, who determines our evolution in mind and body. And when Mama She finally puts this ancient message in book form, the words will better match the energy of a cat, which is me, who actually knows the rules of the road less traveled. And the disciplines will be discussed in our second video. So in the meantime, honor self. We love you.